This courtroom session starts with what looks like a routine traffic infraction, but within moments, it spirals into something far more intense. A woman steps forward to address a simple, no proof of insurance charge, normally a minor civil violation with a modest fine. But what unfolds next reveals allegations of domestic violence, claims of a head injury, and a disturbing possibility. The person she fears may actually be waiting outside the courthouse. Today's hearing quickly shifts from paperwork and penalties to something deeply human: fear, safety, and the justice system's limits. How does a judge handle a minor case when serious personal trauma suddenly enters the courtroom? And what happens when the legal system seems to have failed someone before? Stay with us, because this courtroom exchange takes several unexpected turns and raises some powerful questions about protection, accountability, and the real-life struggles behind seemingly small cases.
Your Honor, the prosecutor has offered on one of those insurance cases to allow the civil infraction.
All right. Ms. Howard, would you come forward? Thank you, Keith, and thank you, prosecutor's office. And the Davis proposal for now, while we don't have enough staff to send the public defender down there, I guess we can make that work. All right, Ms. Howard, the public defender has checked with the prosecutor, and they're willing to dismiss this charge of no proof of insurance, which costs a minimum of $325 for a charge called no proof of insurance.
Let's pause here for a moment, because this is an important legal distinction the judge is explaining. A no proof of insurance charge is very different from driving without insurance. In most jurisdictions, including this one, it simply means the driver couldn't provide documentation during the traffic stop, even if they actually had valid coverage. That's why the prosecutor is offering a reduced civil infraction with a $150 fine instead of the much steeper $325 penalty. It also means the charge won't be treated as a criminal misdemeanor, which can have far more serious consequences, like points on a license or higher insurance rates. For many drivers, this happens more often than you'd think. An expired card in the glove compartment, paperwork forgotten at home, or a digital copy that can't be accessed during the stop. But here's the interesting part. What starts as a routine administrative case is about to take a very emotional and unexpected turn.
Insurance. No proof of insurance means you didn't have the little slip in the car. It means you had insurance, but you didn't have proof. And many of us have done that. We get the thing in the mail, we set it aside, your insurance expires. So the fine for that is $150, and it's not a misdemeanor, it's a civil infraction. Are you willing to plead to no proof of insurance?
Yes.
Fine and cost for that is $150. And by statute, ordinance, civil infractions are supposed to be due within 30 days. Today's August 20th. Can you pay that by September 20th?
And this is the moment where the courtroom atmosphere suddenly changes. What began as a simple conversation about a $150 civil infraction turns into something much more personal. Ms. Howard reveals that she's facing serious hardship, not just financially, but emotionally and possibly physically as well. She mentions filing for disability, losing her home, and then something that immediately raises concern. The person she fears may be sitting in the courthouse parking lot. For judges, moments like this create a difficult balance. The court is technically there to handle the insurance violation, not domestic disputes. Yet when someone expresses fear or vulnerability, it becomes impossible to ignore the bigger picture. This is one of those moments where you can see the courtroom shift from purely procedural to deeply human.
Need more time?
I can't even answer because I have to file for disability. And my ex, who I'm talking about, he took everything from me.
I think I must know who he is. We've got Kleenexes there on the. They
He's
said
actually in the
all
parking
girls
lot.
cry, but he's in the parking lot.
Just
Well, wait a minute. That's pretty good. Switch that. Well, it's usually on the defender's side. We don't make the prosecutor cry all that much.
Try hard. I try hard.
We do.
I've been going through a lot. I mean, my house that I got from my kid's name. She took the money and I forgot on the third.
You said he's in the parking lot?
Yeah, he got here and he was in the parking lot.
Now things get even more concerning. Miss Howard begins describing alleged incidents of violence, including claims that her head was cracked open and that her partner dragged her by a truck. These are serious allegations, and they immediately raise the question, why aren't there active charges right now? She explains that multiple cases were dismissed across 2 counties. That's a complex legal situation because domestic cases often depend heavily on victim testimony and cooperation. If a victim is unable or unwilling to participate at certain stages of the process, prosecutors sometimes dismiss charges due to insufficient evidence. But hearing her version of events creates a lot of tension in the room. It also raises a question for you watching. Do you think the system sometimes struggles to protect victims in situations like this?
All right, waiting for you. What's his name?
Jesus Borrego.
Who?
Jesus Borrego.
Don't know him. Well, I'm gonna use this date. Don't worry about it. But at some point, you're gonna need to pay this. Have you considered asking for a PPO?
He did, and they, because I live in Edwardsburg. I went to the Cass County over there, and they told me because there's domestic that there's a no contact. But we were supposed to go to court.
Where's the domestic here?
There's been 2 here, two here against me and my daughter, and then 2 in Cass County, and he's got away with all of them.
Where is the charge pending?
There's no charges, nowhere to get let go with disturbing the peace, and I don't know why because my head was open.
In Cass County or St. Joe County?
Both were dropped.
Again, the judge doesn't make.
Yeah, he dragged me by the truck. He cracked his head open.
BORREGO.
BORREGO.
You're still
They dropped it. They never contacted me. He showed up at court at my house right after he got out of jail. And it's Borrego. Yeah, you got it.
I see it, Borrego VRL.
Yeah, his history on Borrego Villarreal.
But I don't see anything 2021.
That was when I first started.
So there were 2. One was I think Deborah Davis was still here. It was actually set for a jury trial.
The new one?
The one, it says dismissed.
Here the judge is digging into the court records, and what he finds is revealing. According to the documentation, the previous case was dismissed because the victim was labeled uncooperative. That phrase might sound simple, but in legal terms, it can mean many things. Sometimes victims are unable to attend hearings. Sometimes communication breaks down between the court and the victim. And sometimes trauma or fear can make participation extremely difficult. From the court's perspective, a prosecutor needs enough cooperation and evidence to move forward with a case. Without that, the legal system often can't proceed. But from Miss Howard's perspective, it sounds like she feels the process failed her. And that's where the tension in this exchange really begins to build.
Dismissed uncooperative victim. abuse and neglect case still open, dismissed by prosecutor. So in that December of 2021, we had a jury trial set and the prosecutor said that you weren't cooperative and they dismissed it. Let's look at the other one.
No, I filled out the paper to inform me with everything that I wanted to be in the courtroom.
I don't know, but the prosecutor dismissed both of these charges in December of 2021. And all I'm looking at is the rough notes because you were uncooperative. So I don't know what that means, but anyway, we don't have anything pending here. So is there anything pending in Cass County?
He just recently just got out of jail just last month.
Is there a no contact order in Cass County?
I thought there was a no contact order because that's what the judge, Victor Fritz,
Yes.
told me when I went to go put a PPO. He said there's no contact order, but then he showed up at my house.
Well,
and he said that they dropped it.
I can't speak.
So I can't.
Well, the prosecutor doesn't do the PPO. The judge does. So
at this point, the judge makes a crucial decision. Even though this hearing is technically about an insurance infraction, he shifts focus toward her safety. Courts are limited in what they can do during unrelated proceedings, but judges still have a responsibility to ensure that people in their courtroom aren't at risk. That's why he suggests seeking a personal protection order, often called a PPO. A PPO is a court order that legally prohibits someone from contacting or approaching another person. Violating it can lead to immediate arrest. And when Miss Howard says the man she fears might be outside the courthouse, the judge's response becomes very practical. He orders court officers to escort her safely to her car. This is one of those moments where procedure meets real-world concern.
So there's a lot of here.
I want a PPO.
Well, I would go back to the Cass County courts and ask for a personal protection order. I want to make sure that things are okay in the parking lot. We're going to find Mr.
He was there.
There you go, VRA.
Knocking on, pounding and pounding on my door at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he didn't stop and woke up
When was this?
this morning.
This morning.
This morning. And he woke up my girls and my baby boy. And I go outside, I'm scared. And he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just yelling at me and everything. And he's yelling at my daughter. And
all right, well, that doesn't have to do with this insurance case, but I am concerned about your safety. We're going to have the bailiffs escort you out to your
thank you
car
so much.
and see what Mr. Villarreal Borrego is doing. But I would encourage you to go back to the court, wherever they do PPOs in Cass County. It isn't, you don't need the prosecutor to get a PPO. It's a personal protection order. So all I know is your cases were dismissed because they
Listen
said...
carefully to what the judge says here. The charges were dismissed because records show the victim was considered uncooperative. But he also acknowledges something important. This happens a lot in domestic cases. Domestic violence prosecutions can be incredibly complicated. Victims may face intimidation, financial dependency, emotional manipulation, or fear of retaliation. All of these factors can affect whether they participate in court proceedings. The judge can only rely on the information available in the system. If records say the case was dismissed for lack of cooperation, that's what he has to work with. But the tension between official court records and personal experience is clearly visible in this exchange.
Because they said you weren't cooperative, which happens a lot. Anyway, you pay that fine when you can. It has a due date of September 20th.
Okay. Am I able to go and speak to somebody about that one?
Which one?
From the one that they said I was uncooperative or
About 4 years ago.
No, we'll find out what they were talking about.
Yeah, you can go to the prosecutor's been asked to talk to the victim advocate here at the courthouse.
Okay.
All right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
I'll find out what's going
And
on
just
there.
like that, The court moves on to the next case, another no proof of insurance charge. This shift highlights something fascinating about courtroom proceedings. Emotional, intense moments can occur, but the docket keeps moving. The next defendant faces almost the exact same legal offer: plead to a civil infraction, pay a $150 fine, and avoid a more serious charge. From a legal standpoint, this is a very common resolution in traffic-related cases. Prosecutors often agree to reduce charges if the driver likely had insurance but simply couldn't prove it at the time of the stop. It's efficient, it clears the docket quickly, and it prevents minor cases from escalating unnecessarily.
Now, what's going on there? I don't like the whole sound of that. All right, your case was the same charge, and the prosecutors made the same plea offer to dismiss the no insurance for a plea to no proof of insurance, which carries a $150 fine and is a civil infraction. Are you willing to do that?
Yes, sir. I last I knew that I had insurance, and I never got a notification that it lapsed. So,
Well, that probably would be an appropriate no proof of insurance.
Yes,
Because you couldn't prove to the policeman you had insurance.
I had a card in my vehicle, but the officer said when she ran, she said that I had no insurance. So I said, I got a card, and I showed it to her, but evidently it lapsed or something.
It must have expired. And I said, many people have done that. Fine.
That's bad on my thought.
All right. Can you pay $150 by September 20th?
Yes, sir.
How many miles did you have on this? How many miles did you have on this 2006 Chevy?
This is a rare moment of humor in an otherwise serious courtroom session. The judge notices the defendant's vehicle has over 200,000 miles, which leads to a lighthearted conversation about engine durability. Believe it or not, small exchanges like this happen frequently in courtrooms. Judges deal with hundreds of cases, and brief moments of humor can actually help ease the tension. It also humanizes the process. Instead of a purely rigid legal environment, we see a glimpse of everyday conversation between people navigating the system. Still, the underlying point remains. Even routine traffic matters come with financial obligations and legal responsibilities.
Chevy.
Like 208,000.
You got 200,000 miles on a 2006 HHR. I think you got your money's worth. Chevy engines aren't known for going 200,000 miles.
But my buddy has one that's got 400,000 miles on it.
Wow. Well, good for you. Maybe in your Wyoming, everything's a long ways away from each other.
This courtroom session shows how quickly legal proceedings can shift from routine to deeply personal. What started as a simple insurance documentation case turned into a conversation about domestic violence allegations, dismissed charges, and concerns about personal safety. The judge ultimately handled the insurance violation as a civil infraction with a $150 fine, giving the defendant time to pay while also encouraging her to pursue a personal protection order if she felt threatened. Moments like this highlight the limitations of the courtroom. Judges must focus on the case in front of them, even when bigger issues surface. Yet we also saw the judge take steps to ensure her safety by arranging an escort out of the courthouse. Cases like this raise important questions about how the justice system handles complex personal situations behind minor legal violations. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.